Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com for Pegasus World Cup Day at Gulfstream Park, Saturday, January 28th. First edition of this Grade 1 race, and a full field of 12 in the gate, and we'll get to that in a little bit. I'm Tom Leach, along with Jonathan Fowler from Keeneland Select, and we're going to take the stakes races in order. There are a bunch of them, Jonathan, so let's jump right into the third race. It's a Grade 3, the Hurricane Birdie at 7 furlongs for fillies and mares 4 and up. And where did you go?
I didn't get too overly tricky with this one. I think it really comes down between the 1 Genre and the 3 Curlin's Approval. I think they'll be your pace setters of this race. And they both ran 1-2. Let's see. Curlin's Approval ran second in her last race. They ran 2-3 in their last race, and I kind of have a feeling that's how it's going to play out this time as well. I'm putting Curlin's Approval on top. She breaks to the outside of Genre. I think she just tracks her. She has more experience at the 1 turn, 7 furlongs distance, so I'd just give a slight nod to Curlin's Approval over Genre. There's some intrigue by You Bought Her. She just ran last week in the Sunshine Million. So I'm going to put Bodacious Babe above her for third.
I am actually going to take a shot with You Bought Her on the quick turn back. I always found those angles intriguing. And this one is interesting because this is a stretch from 6 furlongs last Saturday to 7 furlongs this Saturday. And this 7 furlong distance looks to be clearly her best. She's won 9 races in her career, and 5 of them have come at 7 furlongs. So I think with the 2 horses that you mentioned, the likely favorites, Genre and Curlin's Approval, both kind of speedy, so maybe they can set it up for You Bought Her. So I'm going to take You Bought Her, use her in exacta boxes with the top 2, and try to get a little bit of a price there. Fifth race is the Poseidon Handicap at 1 mile and 1/8. I think Cherry Wine's going to run a big one here. See that she seems to be he seems to be training well, and off the layoff, I think ran a huge race at Gulfstream last year, but I just can't pick him to beat Stanford. So I'm going to hope that Cherry Wine gets a little bit of a price and I can hit an exacta. But I got to pick Stanford, just so strong in that first off the layoff, and then some good works, 4 of them actually since then for Todd Pletcher, who just kills it at the Gulfstream meet. So got to take Stanford, but I'm hoping Cherry Wine could get second and make a decent exacta. And I'll box him in case Cherry Wine could beat him. Also throw in Made from Lucky with Stanford as well in an exacta box that won't pay much. How about you?
Yeah, we're sitting pretty similar here. I hate favorites, so I'm going to try with Made from Lucky, the other Pletcher horse. He ran a not so great fourth in his layoff in the Heartland Holiday in December, so I'm going to expect a little bit better improvement. Castellano gets on here. I know Velasquez rode Stanford last time. Castellano had ridden him before, so I find that kind of intriguing. Maybe there's not much behind that. But Javier does get the leg up on Made from Lucky. So I'm going to put him on top of Stanford. I'm really intrigued by Cherry Wine. He also gets that big weight break. He's carrying 113 pounds. And the other one I'm going to take a look at is on the outside, High Riverside. This horse finished first last week in the Sunshine Million Classic. Just won by a nose. They return him on the quick turnaround. I'm not sure he can run that same race, but I couldn't. The rest of these horses, the rest of them, I couldn't quite throw in there. I'm not too intrigued by Imperative, so just bet 12-1 High Riverside. I'm going to throw him into the third spot.
Moving on to the 7th race, the Ladies Turf Sprint at 5 furlongs, and in both of these turf sprints, I'm taking a shot with a price horse, and here it's Blue Bahia. The Service Barn has been pretty hot at the meet with a limited number of starters. This horse showed a big buyer jump in the last start. The horses that look like the most likely contenders, most of them are drawn, most if not all are drawn on the outside. So I like the 4-hole for this horse. Got good speed. So I'm going to take a shot that she can get good enough to upset the more likely contenders. Spectacular Me, the 9, Everything Lovely, the 12, Brandy's Girl, the 6, and my sister Caro, the 1. But Blue Bahia's going to be the pick for me in the ladies' turf sprint. How about you?
Yeah, it was a shame all of the favorites are sitting quite on that outside. I'm going to take a chance just because of the class level on the outside with the 3 on the outside, the 10, the 11, and the 12. Triple Chelsea, who won the prep race at Tampa very nicely. She's going to drop down to 6-1 for this race. The Pletcher horse on the outside, Everything Lovely, she looks like she might have had a little bump at the start, so maybe that'll help her a little bit. They have enough run into that first only turn, so maybe she can improve off that. And then the 11 Night Delight, who finished second in the Lighting City. So I'm going to use all 3 of those. I have a feeling that your horse is going to be put in a pretty good run, though, but I'm going to use those 3 on the outside.
The ninth race starts the late pick 4, and we'll come back after we finish handicapping each of these stakes to give you a pick 4 ticket. But it's the Gulfstream Park Turf Sprint, so it's the boys going 5 furlongs on the turf. And got a big field here. Who do you like?
It was really, really hard to get past Mongolian Saturday. He is breaking from the outside, but he has great tactical speed. It's his first start since the Breeders' Cup where he didn't run so great. But he was super impressive in the Woodford at Keeneland, where he won just by a half length. Really likes this. He's won at this course before, and he had a bullet work in 3 furlongs and 35-2. That's sensationally fast, just on January 20th. So everything looks to be good for him. You've got Power Alert that's going to be on the outside of him. I initially had him kind of singled, but then I came back and thought that outside post doesn't look so great. So. Then on the inside, the number 1, Rainbow Air. This horse won last time at Gulfstream Park West very nicely. I mean, when you go back and look at that race, he had some trouble in the beginning, then came flying at the end. That's not usually how he runs his races. So maybe this is may find a new dimension with this horse, but he looks spectacular in that race. So I'm going to use him on the inside. So 1, and then on the outside, the 10 and the 11.
I think probably 10 and 11, Mongolian Saturday and Power Alert. One of those 2 is the most likely winner, but I'm fishing for a price here, and I went to the 4-horse Platinum Prince. It's a class test for sure, but the debut for 2017 was this horse's lifetime best, and I like the fact that Sias is staying aboard to ride, so one of the top riders on the circuit staying on board. This horse was real impressive in that win. Don't know if he's good enough, but I think 12-1 on the morning line, I'll take a shot. But this is a race I'll want to spread out when it comes pick 4 time. But I'm going to try for a price on Platinum Prince, use him with Mongolian Saturday, Power Alert, Rainbow Air, the ones you mentioned, and maybe throw in long on value as well. And really a 5-horse box of those 5, or you could leave out long on value, make it a 4-horse box. It might be the best way to play this for me because if Platinum Prince could just finish in the first 2, you got a good shot at hitting a nice exacta. 10th race is the La Proviante Handicap, Grade 3. Fillies and mares going long on the turf, 1.5 miles. And anytime you get these marathon races, and Graham Motion's got one in there, that's one of the best places to start. And so I went to Arliss, the 7, if that's how that's pronounced, working well and ran big last time, just got beat a nose out in California. Takes a little bit of a break and now a little freshening and now comes back. And I think it's going to be real tough in here. Desiree Clary, the 4, 12 Suffused, both have some class. A couple of Proctor horses, if you want to go a little deeper, you could throw in the 10 Wappy, the 6 Promotional. But I kind of like the 7 Arliss a good bit in this one. How about you?
Yeah, this might be one of those races where you need to go a little bit deeper just because in these 1.5-mile races, like you say, you never know. The top 3 that ran last time in the Via Borghese at Gulfstream, that would be Page, Desiree Clary, Flip Cup. Those are horses that are quite intriguing. And I think the other one was Promotional. So those 4 horses are quite interesting, especially the top 2. Desiree Clary just got nailed at the wire by Page. So I think Christophe Clement can get this one turned around and ready. Castellano gets on board for the first time on this filly, or this mare, so I think she does well. Arles, the number 7 you talked about, has run second in her 2 starts in the United States. I think she can overcome that here. She gets the better post here. She seems to be training really well, so I think Graham can have her ready. And then on the outside, 12 Suffused, talked about her. So I'm going to go a little. I'm not going to go as deep as I originally thought, but I'm going to use the 4, 7, 11, 12 here.
Moving on to the 11th race, the Grade 3 WL McKnight Handicap, 1.5 on the turf. So this is the male version of the La Proviante. And had a tougher time coming up with a strong opinion here. Who did you land on?
Yeah, exactly the same way. You always kind of keep an eye on Twilight Eclipse, and he's coming in from 3 straight Grade 1s, but he just hasn't been able to do anything. But this Grade 3 may be a spot where he can make some noise. It is his first start. He likes Gulfstream. He likes the distance. It's just hard to trust him. So definitely not going to be singling by any stretch of the means, but certainly going to use him. On the outside, I'm looking at the 10 and the 11. Mr. Maybe, I mean, you've got the Eclipse team right here. Chad Brown, the trainer, Javier Castellano, the jockey. Certainly have the connections right here. He was 4th last time in the Knickerbocker. But when he goes longer, he does better. So if you look at his better races, he's going longer. So in a stakes at Saratoga, he won there. If you look further back at Belmont, he's run some really good races. He won the Red Smith at Aqueduct going a mile and 3/8. So I think at 6-1, he's one to use. On the outside, the number 11, Sadler's Joy, he's a newly turned 4-year-old. He was quite impressive at Aqueduct back on November the 9th, so he's got a bit of a break, but he looked really, really good in that race. Made a big move on the turn and won just going away. Then the other horse that I'll use is the number 1, Taglib. He's going to be coming from the back of the pack, but he won here last time on December 31st, going 2 miles. So he definitely likes to go a longer distance. We'll just see the class level, how he measures up here. But I'm going to use the 1, 7, 10, 11 in this one.
I ended up on the 10 because, first and foremost, the Brown Castellano combo. Source ran pretty well at Gulfstream last spring, so he likes the course. Like the workout pattern to get ready for this, and Chad Brown's exceptional off the layoff. The others I like are the 6 Charming Kitten, the 4 Danish Dynaformer, the 1 Taglib, the 7 Twilight Eclipse, and I could probably go even deeper, but I'm going to limit it to those, and probably even leave out Twilight Eclipse for my pick 4 ticket when we get to that. But I'm going to take Mr. Maybe for the win and use him in an exacta box with as many of those others as your budget will allow. 12th race is the Grade 1 Pegasus World Cup Invitational. I took Arrogate in the Breeders' Cup. I'm going California Chrome this time. I mean, it's splitting hairs on these two. I like, actually, the outside post for California Chrome because I think he has enough speed to be okay and not get hung too wide. And I just think tactically I like him being outside of Arrogate this time. Arrogate's had 2 sensational races in the Travers and the Breeders' Cup. Both were at 1.25 miles. This is 1.8 miles, so maybe Chrome can work out a little bit of an advantage with the cutback. Also like that Chrome came into Gulfstream earlier and got more training over that surface. So again, you got to use both, I think, in pick 4s. But I'm going to take a stand with California Chrome for the win pick in here. How about you?
I went back and forth on this for the past 3 days between the two of them, looking at different reasonings. Everything that you said is exactly right. I'm leaning also more towards California Chrome for those reasons. Another reason is just the tactic-wise of this race. I think it's going to play up a little bit different. Do they want Arrogate on that inside post to get swallowed up by the rest of this field? So do they use him up a little bit more, like they did in the Travers where he went to the lead? If so, he's got Noble Bird right to his outside, who wants nothing more than to go to the lead. Mark Cassidy has said time and time again, if this horse does not get the lead, he does not run his race. So I can guarantee you, as long as Noble Bird breaks well, he is going to the lead. That's the only shot he's got. And his connections have even said that time and time again. If he doesn't get to the lead, he's not the same horse. You also have Neolithic, number 3. He wants to potentially go to the lead. That's where he's done some of his best racing. Then you've got the horses. I'm just looking for some value plays because I think the top 2 are obviously the top 2 horses in this race. Look at Shaman Ghost, the number 7. And Breaking Lucky, the number 10. Those are horses that may be able to maybe potentially upset for the play spot, but most likely in for the show spot. Keen Ice is at 12-1. I'm not real keen on him in this race for even the 3rd spot. So I think you can get some better value into that 3rd spot. So California Chrome for me on top, just because of being there early, getting over the track a little bit more, and just being on the outside, Victor can have a good eye on the rest of the field. We'll see if he can upset it's the horse of the year versus the 3-year-old champ. It's going to be quite an exciting race.
Let's say somebody wanted to throw in a third horse to try to hit a much bigger multi-race ticket. I think I would use Noble Bird just because Gulfstream can be speed favoring, and maybe if Arrogate doesn't go to the front and Noble Bird gets there and gets brave on his lonesome, he can throw up a big number. That would be the only one that I could give a shot to. What about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. If he can get out there and run his race, he gets really cocky on the lead, and he just looks like a completely different horse. You can take a look between the Clark, where he was bothered at the start. He looked completely, he looked bothered. He just didn't look like the same horse. Then go back, look at the Fayette, or even the Lucas Classic, or any of his past races that he's won. He just looks different. He looks confident. He's on the lead. He's got his ears up. He looks great. I'll give a slight look, to Shaman Ghost, just because he's been training lights out in his past 2 works. It would be a huge upset, I think, over the other 2, but he's just one that is quite intriguing. He can definitely put up some good speed figures on his better days.
Give me your late pick 4 ticket.
All right, so in race 9, I'm going to use the 1 Rainbow Air, then Mongolian Saturday, and Power Alert, so the 1, 10, 11. On to race 10, I'm going to use 4 Desiree Clary, 7 Arles, the 11 Page, and 12 Suffused. Race 11, I'm going to use Inside Horse, number 1 Taglib, 7 Twilight Eclipse, and 10 Mr. Maybe. And just to cover me, I'm going to use number 1 Arrogate and 12 California Chrome.
I'm going to use 5 in the first leg, the Turf Sprint, Rainbow Air, Power Alert, Mongolian Saturday, Long on Value, and the one I picked, the Upsetter Platinum Prince. Next race, I'm going to use Arles, Desiree Clary, and Suffused. In the McKnight, I'm going to go 4 deep, Mr. Maybe, Charming Kitten, Danish Dinah, Former, and Taglib, and then the top 2 in the Pegasus World Cup. So that's a $60 ticket for 50 cents. If you want to trim it, I'd say maybe cut Long and Value out of the first leg and just go four deep in there. Should be a fun day. Some good maiden races on the card down at Gulfstream. So a nice wagering card for all the fans. And if you can't get out to your local simulcast facility here in Kentucky, then play through Keeneland Select or Jonathan Fowler. I'm Tom Leach. Oh, by the way, we should wish good luck to our colleague Jim Goodman out at the handicapping challenge out in Vegas, and hopefully he can bring home the bucks this weekend and treat us all to dinner or something.
Exactly. I'll take that.
There you go. Best of luck, everybody. We'll be back next week with another edition of the End the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.